In a city where millions of people crossed paths every day, most lives passed unnoticed. Not because they didn't matter, but because everyone was too busy carrying their own weight. Ethan was one of them. He lived a quiet life, the kind that doesn't attract attention. Wake up early. Go to work. Come home tired. Sleep. Repeat. He wasn't unhappy exactly, just disconnected, like he was watching his own life from a distance. Ethan worked at a small convenience store near a bus stop. Every day, he saw hundreds of faces. Some rushed. Some complained. Some looked lost. Over time, they all blended together. Until one evening. It was cold. The kind of cold that makes people walk faster and care less. As Ethan locked the store and stepped outside, he noticed an old man sitting at the bus stop. He had been there earlier that day. And the day before. The man wasn't asking for money. He wasn't talking to anyone. He was just sitting there, holding a small bag, staring at the road. Ethan hesitated. He was tired. He wanted to go home. And like everyone else, he thought, someone else will help. He took a few steps forward. Then stopped. Something about leaving felt heavier than staying. Ethan turned back and asked, "Sir, are you all right?" The old man looked up slowly, surprised. "I think so," he said. "Just waiting. For the bus?" Ethan asked. The man smiled faintly. For something like that. Ethan checked the schedule. The last bus had already passed. "It's cold," Ethan said. "Have you eaten?" The man shook his head. They went to a small cafe nearby. Ethan bought him soup and tea. The man ate slowly, carefully, as if every bite mattered. They talked. The man's name was Arthur. He had worked his whole life. Lost his family over time. Lost his home quietly. Not all at once, piece by piece. "I didn't fail loudly," Arthur said. "I just disappeared." Those words stayed with Ethan. Ethan called a shelter and waited with Arthur until help arrived. Before leaving, Arthur held Ethan's hand and said, "Most people walk past me. Tonight, you stopped. That matters more than you know." Ethan went home that night feeling lighter, not because he fixed anything, but because he chose not to look away. The days that followed weren't magical. Life stayed hard. Work stayed tiring. But Ethan noticed something had changed. He noticed people. A coworker who looked overwhelmed. A customer counting coins nervously. A stranger who needed time, not advice. Ethan didn't become rich. He didn't become famous. He just became present. Weeks later, a letter arrived from the shelter. Arthur was safe. He had reconnected with a relative. He was rebuilding his life slowly. Ethan read the letter twice. He realized something simple and powerful. Kindness doesn't always change the world. But it always changes someone's world. And sometimes, that someone is you. Every day, we pass moments like that bus stop. Moments to ignore. Moments to pause. Most people keep walking. But once in a while, someone turns back. And that's where real stories begin. In a city filled with endless noise, flashing lights, and rushing feet, it was easy to believe that everyone was moving forward. But beneath the movement, many people were simply surviving. Passing time. Carrying weight no one could see. Ethan was one of them. His life was not dramatic enough to be tragic, and not joyful enough to feel meaningful. Days came and went quietly, blending into one another. He woke up early each morning, prepared for work, and followed the same route through the same streets. He had learned how to function without asking too many questions. Ethan worked at a small convenience store near a bus stop. It was the kind of place people entered without looking up and left. Without remembering. He stocked shelves, scanned items, returned change, and wished people a good day, even when he knew most of them wouldn't hear it. He watched people constantly. Some walked fast, as if slowing down might cause their problems to catch up. Some avoided eye contact, as if being seen required too much energy. Some smiled politely, carrying exhaustion behind their eyes. Over time, Ethan stopped expecting anything from the world. Not because he had given up, but because expecting less hurt less. One evening, winter settled in harder than usual. The air felt sharp, the kind that makes your breath visible and your thoughts heavier. Ethan closed the store late and stepped outside, already thinking about the quiet of his apartment. That's when he noticed the old man. He was sitting at the bus stop, hunched slightly, holding a small worn bag in his hands. Ethan had seen him before. Once or twice. Maybe more. He had never paid much attention, not out of cruelty, but out of habit. That night, something felt different. The old man wasn't asking for money. He wasn't speaking to anyone. He was just sitting there, waiting, as if time had slowed down for him alone. Ethan hesitated. He was tired, cold, ready to go home. And like most people, his first instinct was to walk past. To trust that someone else would handle it. Someone with more energy, more resources, more responsibility. He took a few steps forward. Then stopped. Walking away suddenly felt heavier than staying. Ethan turned back and approached the bus stop slowly. "Sir," he said gently, "are you all right?" The old man looked up, surprised. His eyes were cloudy but kind. "I think so," he replied. "Just waiting. For the bus?" Ethan asked. The man smiled faintly. For something like that. Ethan checked the schedule. The last bus had already passed. "It's cold," Ethan said. "Have you eaten?" The man shook his head. They walked to a small cafe nearby, one of the few places still open. Ethan ordered soup and tea. The old man ate slowly, carefully, like someone who had learned not to rush comfort. His name was Arthur. Arthur spoke about his life in pieces. About working for decades. About having a family once. About how things didn't fall apart all at once, they slowly slipped away. A job lost. A relationship strained. A home that became unaffordable. "I didn't fail loudly," Arthur said quietly. "I just disappeared." Those words stayed with Ethan. After the meal, Ethan called a local shelter and waited with Arthur until help arrived. The night grew quieter as they sat there, strangers sharing a moment neither of them would forget. Before leaving, Arthur held Ethan's hand. "Most people walk past me," he said. "Tonight, you stopped. That matters more than you know." Ethan watched the van disappear into the night. He walked home feeling different, not lighter exactly, but more connected. As if something inside him had woken up. The days that followed didn't suddenly become easy. Life stayed the same on the surface. Work was still tiring. Bills still came. But Ethan noticed something had shifted. He noticed people more. A coworker snapping under pressure. A customer counting coins nervously. A stranger who just needed a moment to breathe. Ethan didn't fix anyone's life. He didn't perform grand gestures. He simply chose to be present. Weeks later, a letter arrived from the shelter. Arthur was safe. He had reconnected with a distant relative. He was rebuilding his life slowly. Ethan read the letter twice. That night, sitting alone in his apartment, Ethan realized something simple but powerful. Kindness doesn't always change the whole world. But it always changes someone's world. And sometimes, the person who changes the most is the one who chose not to walk away. Every day, we pass moments like that bus stop. Moments to ignore. Moments to pause. Most people keep moving. But once in a while, someone turns back. And that small decision becomes the beginning of something much bigger than they ever expected.